No way. It can't be. It just can't be. Is that you, Leo? Is that where you were all this time after the events of the House of Flying Daggers? You're with these guys for all these years, and you gotta face these weirdo creatures, whoever they are, who are going up against the Great Wall. For real? Really? Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boopop197. This is my review for a day. And today's review, ladies and dudes, ladies and dudes, I'm finally going to do this movie review at long last. And since from last year, after all from last year, I have never got a chance to see this movie in the year of 2017 back at February, because I got some plans to see some other movies that I gotta see in the year 2017, but sadly not this one. But I was thinking about it, but I didn't have time to see it. So yeah, for my next movie review is The Great Wall, that features our Jason Bourne star, Matt Damon. And yes, I know a couple of Matt Damon films here and there, but I will say for this one, it's his most decent film that he ever made. Well, this is his very first movie that featured in China, if you know what I mean. And yes, ladies and dudes, I will admit, if you guys remember my Logan movie review, I did show you guys this really cool card that features that really cool poster. You know, here you go. I know it's kind of shiny and way too bright for all of your taste, but yeah, this is one of the most coolest pictures I ever seen in movie history. And I will say for this movie, this is one of the most underrated movies I have ever seen so far in movie history. So, anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my next movie review called The Great Wall. And tell you the truth is about the main plot of the story, I'm going to do it in a little bit of a style of Dragon Ball Z in some ways. What if this is the only type of adaptation of Dragon Ball Z that we got that features a little bit of an origin story of the Saiyans? Because I wish we could get to know the Saiyans just a little bit more. And I think I know why. This kind of looks like an origin story of the Saiyan saga in some ways. So, anyway, let's head on to my main plot of the story. It's a story about this low-class soldier named William. He and his partner are stuck with a whole lot of high-class Chinese people who are facing these unknown villains, these unknown monsters that came out of nowhere that has funny-looking eye things that's coming out of their shoulders, and they're heading across this big, giant, snaky-like wall called the Great Wall. And it's up to them to stop these unknown monsters before they could increase, so they could give their queen their food and all that stuff. So anyway, that's my whole entire plot of The Great Wall. And I guess everybody wants to know is, I'm sure everyone's so darn antsy about it, what the heck do I think about this movie called The Great Wall? And I know people will kill me for this, but I like it. Uh-oh, the boothing! Ah! No, not the boothing all over again! No, please calm down. Let me explain about the reason why I do like about The Great Wall. Overall, it is a pretty good movie. I will say it's one of the most underrated movies I have ever seen so far in movie history. And there are so many underrated things about this film that you guys need to go back and rewatch this film for. After all, it's the very same director who did Hero and the House of Flying Daggers and The Curse of the Golden Flower. One of the movies I have never seen before. And there is one actor I know who is in this film, but I'll tell you that in a moment. So, all I could say about this movie, it had a pretty good storyline for the most part. And I will say the characters were fine, but I wish I could get to know them just a little bit more. I love the action scenes. The action scenes are so darn beautiful and so darn unique in so many ways. I love the cinematography of the film. It had a really good score, and it had a good near ending as well. I do like the near ending of this film. And what else? And I also love the costume designs. The costume designs are pretty darn epic in so many ways. And to tell you the truth is about the costume designs, about what the characters were wearing, there's a couple of them. Some of the armor, well, for the two main characters are wearing, you could say Matt Damon's character and that dude who was in of the Game of Thrones, you could say they're wearing the low-class armor type of thing. And as for the other two characters, one who's a general and the other is this cool female chick who's a great warrior, you could say they belong in the high class. Yeah, they have high-class armor. And they look pretty well trained, while the other two are not pretty well trained. So this is the reason why I say this is like a Dragon Ball Z story in some ways, because of their armor. Yeah, that is pretty darn cool, don't you think? So anyway, let's head on to my strongest points and the weakest points of the Great Wall. I want to say for the strongest points for this movie is truly the action scenes. I freaking love the action scenes of this movie, and I love all the events that's going on in the film, where all the cool high elite Chinese people had done their very best to defeat these weird looking creatures that came out of nowhere that has the eye that's coming in their shoulders, and they're trying to defeat them as soon as they can. They got a couple of them out of the way here or there. Yeah, there's a whole lot of fighting going on, a whole lot of killing, and some of them did survive, some of them not, and all that stuff. I will say my most favorite action scene in the whole entire movie is truly the first one, because the first one had so much pure epicness going on. What those Chinese people did to face those weird looking creatures that came out of nowhere. Yeah, that was a pretty cool action scene. And I like the part where William's trying to help them out just a little bit to defeat a couple of them here or there, while they're stuck in that big giant snaky like wall called the Great Wall. So I will say the action scenes is truly the best, strongest point of the movie. I will say for my major weak point of the movie is I wish we could get to know the characters just a little bit more. I want to get to know everybody. The only characters we know is Matt Damon's character and that Chinese chick character. At least we got to know their storylines just a little bit. I want to get to know a little bit more about these characters in so many ways. And that's all I can say about my major weak point in the movie is I want to get to know the characters just a little bit more. Just every single one of them and not just a few here or there. And finally, we can go on to the characters. But I will stick with one character that I remember the most. And no, it's not Matt Damon. No, it's not the dude who was in the Game of Thrones. Or the guy we remembered who played the Green Goblin for the first Spider-Man movie from Sam Raimi. Actually, it's this character right here. The one I'm pointing for all of you. And to tell you the truth, ladies and dudes, this dude is pretty darn familiar. And I knew him from somewhere from another Chinese movie. Well, the only Chinese movie that I did remember. Back in my own memory, I guess. So, do you guys know who he is or no? Well, You're not gonna believe this. It's really this Andy dude. Yes, it's really Andy. Well, it's so hard for me to pronounce his last name because I'm trying so hard to pronounce his last name, but I'd rather call him Andy. As you may remember about this Andy dude, he's the one who was in another Chinese movie that features that Chinese director in The House of Flying Daggers, and he's the one who played Leo. And to tell you the truth is, an interesting fun fact you should know, when I first saw Doctor Strange, when I finally saw this trailer for the very first time, I just did not know that Andy's going to be featured in this movie. I was just so darn surprised. I did not know that the dude who was in the House of Flying Daggers is going to be in this movie. And also, I will let you know about his character. He's playing this right-hand man for the general. And I will say he did a pretty good job with his character. This is one of the characters I would love to get to know because this guy is pretty darn awesome. I have no idea what his storyline is. I do like his personality and attitude. I really love Andy's cool costume design in the film. And he has some character development chemistry with the two main characters in some ways, and he's a really good, another great protagonist in the whole entire film. Maybe a supporting protagonist in some ways. And I found an interesting fun fact that you should know about Andy's character is, well, to tell you the truth is, I'm not sure if everybody should notice about it right away. But Andy did his very first Chinese movie where he could finally speak English. And I was like, no way. This dude who was in the House of Flying Daggers is finally speaking English for the very first time? I was so darn surprised. I did not see it coming. Our beloved man who did the House of Flying Daggers is finally speaking English for the very first time in a Chinese movie. And yes, he did speak his own language in this film here and there, but it's really darn surprising to hear him doing his very first English debut in a Chinese movie. I just did not see it coming. And yes, another cool fun fact is that he and this director dude have finally reunited at long last after the events of the House of Flying Daggers. So this is a pretty nice reunion movie I will never forget in movie history. And yeah, I will say Andy's character is truly the best one in the whole entire movie for me, in my own opinion. If you guys know what I mean. And so anyway, ladies and dudes, I'll go ahead and tell you about my final thoughts of The Great Wall. Overall, The Great Wall is one of the most underrated movies I have ever seen so far in movie history, and truly one of the most underrated movies in the year of 2017. I will say the storyline is good for the most part. The characters were fine, but I wish I could get to know them just a little bit more. Has beautiful action scenes, beautiful cinematography, great score, good costume designs, and this is a fine movie that featured both from our kind and their kind alike. And I'm very happy they worked together in this film. You know, to put up their differences and become buddies, for goodness sakes. So, overall, I decided to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Please check out this movie to believe it. And just give this movie a freaking chance. Okay? And that's it, ladies and dudes. That's my whole entire movie review of The Great Wall. And I want to say something about my main question for the day. What is your most favorite movie that featured this guy? Not Matt Damon, but this dude. For me, I only know one movie only, and that's The House of Flying Daggers, and that was pretty much it. So, what is your most favorite film that came from this dude? Well, whichever it is, leave a comment there, let me know. And join me next time for my next movie review to come when I finally head back to the movie theaters so I can finally see the great and mighty Liam Neeson's film called The Commuter. So be prepared for that one to come, and I'll see you all later. Sayonara.